Hi, and welcome to my very awkward intro. My name is Bambi/Susan. You can call me whatever you want. And this is Bambi's Rambles. Okay. Hi! It's been a minute, hey! It's been a minute. We have a new friend. So I've named my girls. They were X, Y, and Z, and now they are Keep the Same Energy. Cute, yeah? Anyway, today we are vaping, and I like to make cocktails with my vape, so these are what we are vaping today. This here is hands down one of my fucking favorites, one of my all-time freaking favorite brands of vape juice, just so you know. Not that anyone does anyone vape out there? Do you guys like vaping? Is that a thing? But I love vaping. Anyway, how are we? What's been going on? What's news? What's the tea? What have I missed? Today we are going to talk about, got the baggy jumper on and can we show it? Is it coming up? The don't overthink it leggings, because we're comfy and cozy here in Australia today. Today we're going to talk about, there are things that I dislike about this person, but there are some things that I appreciate about this person. And, yeah, we're just going to talk about his latest actions, which is good old Keemstar. Keem. The channel he has is Drama Alert. But as you go on Drama Alert and you go on Twitter, I don't go on Twitter. I just have good old Bowblax telling me what's good on Twitter. You get two different people essentially. Well, apparently that's his new, I don't know if it's new, but that's his new thing. So I think the gist of what I want to talk about today is a couple of different things, and it might be what's already been spoken about with Keemstar. A lot of people have come out against what he has said in regards to victim shaming. Now, there was a creator that has come out with allegations of SA against Jake Paul. I'm guessing we all know who Jake Paul is. Logan Paul's brother, former Disney star turned Mad Max of vlogs on YouTube. And a lot of the things he has done are problematic and disgusting. And he's like a frat boy on steroids. So, not that he's on steroids, but like his actions are on steroids. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm not really here to talk about whether those allegations are true or are not true, because one, I'm not a police officer. And two, I'm not a big fan of getting involved in the court of public opinion. When it comes to things like that, like we can come into the court of public opinion with eyeshadow palettes and you know, all that sort of stuff. You know, we can have our opinions on YouTube Rewind and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But I don't think that SA is something that we need to have an opinion on. Let me know what your thoughts are, but I just don't feel like I should have an opinion whether it's fucking true or not. But as always, freedom of speech, people can say whatever they want to whomever they want. Now, I just want to talk about a couple of things when it comes to Keemstar and him handling, I think it's a consistent handling of allegations of SA within influencers, YouTube, TikTok, all these sorts of stuff. Again, you have to keep the same energy, Keem. Like, you can't sit there and say, well, I'm not going to talk about it on Drama Alert because I don't believe it. And then say, well, I am going to talk about Pyrocynical, regardless of whether things have been brought to the surface that, you know, say whether they're not on yes or no true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you do it with Pyro, but you won't do it with Jake Paul. What's the issue? Second of all, when it comes to you saying that you... Look at that with the freaking label, the price label. I got this from the op shop. It's got the price label on it. So I'm just going to twist it that way, and we're going to pretend that didn't happen. Now, I should be looking like directly at this thing here, but I get sidetracked. The attention span is not there. And I find it so funny when everyone's like, oh, you ramble so much. Mate, my channel's called Bambi Rambles. What? I don't understand. Anyway. Okay, it is one thing to say, I am not going to cover this because I don't believe it. In that, I still don't like it. But I'm not going to nitpick every single word that should be put in a statement. I'm not going to do that. But what you did say, and I am going to put the video in here. It is a 30-second, I think it's 30 to 40-second Twitter video that he did. All credit to Bowblax, because Bowblax is actually how I found this video. And I will link his channel below. Now, if you don't want to be on fucking Twitter, but you want to know everything that's going on, Bowblax is your man. He's your man, right? And he's got the most lovely voice. Like, I could fall asleep and listen to him tell me about Twitter beef. Anyway. So I'm going to play the video for you.
I need to do a drama alert today on the Jake Paul sexual assault allegations. And quite frankly, I do not believe the alleged victim. And I don't want to just cover this real quick on drama alert without getting some pushback. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe I'm not seeing a certain angle to the story. That's why I'm making this Twitter video, so I can be challenged before I put it on drama alert in front of millions of people. But this girl is claiming that Jake Paul, was kissing her, holding her hand, led her to her room. She didn't want to do any further stuff with him. And then Jake Paul, grabbed her head and started fucking her face. And within 30 seconds, busted a nut in her mouth. And she claims that she was sexually assaulted. Now, how does that happen? What? Wouldn't she have to open her mouth and participate in some way for that to happen? Can't you just turn your head, or can't you just get is there some way to force oral sex on someone? I mean, she's not saying that he had a weapon and was like, you better do this. She is saying that he grabbed her head and started fucking her face and came in her mouth. I don't understand the physics here. I don't understand how that's possible. Why? Can't you get away? Is there really no way to get away? Is there really no way to just close your mouth, and just not let the penis enter your mouth? I'm sorry, but I just don't believe this story at all. Am I missing something here? Please challenge me. Please challenge me, right? I don't want to go in front of millions of people, get called a victim blamer, and not have a piece of information that I should have. But I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's
As you can see in that video, he's not just stating, I don't know how much credibility I give to this. I don't know how I feel about this. So I'm not going to speak on it. And I hope that the girl in question, the people involved, go to the correct authorities, LAPD, whoever it might be, to investigate further and handle this. That's what he should have fucking said. But instead, this dumbass, and I will say dumbass because some dumbass shit is done. And before you come in my comment sections and say whatever, you just watch the video. That is vile and disgusting. He said, what he said about close your mouth, or very graphic, descriptive ways of speaking on it, and was very derogatory towards what this girl was saying, regardless of whether it is true or not true. Fuck that. We're not about that. We're not talking about that in this video. There are multiple people that have, been doing their digging and their research, wondering whether Jake Paul was even in the state at the time and all these sorts of things. Okay, but we're not talking about that. The way that you have just said, I am not going to talk about this on Drama Alert, but you go on Twitter where you do not have the same amount of followers, you do not have the same amount of interaction, things like that on Twitter, but you're still dragging this whole thing out and being absolutely vile and disgusting with it. Now, I honestly would have thought that you would have grown or learned or something about the Jessie Smiles situation. Now, Jessie Smiles is a YouTube creator. I love her to bits. I absolutely love her. And I love when she does videos. I'm not entirely sure whether she still does because I do not watch these creators anymore. No reason why. I just, in the YouTube world, we move on to other channels and other things. But Kathleen Lights and her have done some videos where they get drunk, they start speaking Spanish, they do some crazy things, and it's a real laugh. Like those videos make me feel like I'm sitting with a bunch of girlfriends, and it's hilarious. Anyway, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail as to what happened with Jessie Smiles and her ex-partner. You're more than welcome to go down that rabbit hole yourself. But for context, she did come out and say that her ex-partner, Todd, oh my God, please, I cannot say his name because I don't want to say the wrong name. So I'm so sorry. But her ex-partner, who is also on the platform and is a large YouTuber, sexually assaulted her. He raped her. Now, all this aside, whether it has come out that in his own way that he apologized. He did apologize. There was police involvement. There was a whole bunch of things. Again, I'm pretty sure it might be in that Keemstar video, or it might be another Keemstar Twitter video that Bowblax has done. If I can find those, I will put them in the description. But if I forget, I sincerely apologize. You're welcome to comment down below and I can see if I can find them for you. But it's a click away. You know what I mean? If you type in Jessie Smiles and Todd Turner, I'm sorry, I think that's his name. Anyway, if you look into that, it's come out that basically it's true, okay? Keemstar has gone hard for Jessie. Not in the way of sticking up for her. He has gone hard for her to say that she is known as a liar within the industry. She's X, Y, and Z, all these sorts of things, and he has dragged her through the mud time and time and time again. And I think that is fucking disgusting, and he needs to stop. Whether you believe a victim or not, your freedom of speech doesn't fucking matter. I'm sorry. People might say you're picking and choosing when freedom of speech matters, but maybe I am, and that's completely fine, but why are we going to drag people on Twitter about SA? Like, really? You're not only saying, is it true, is it not true? You're legitimately attacking somebody. You're legitimately saying, victim blaming things. Like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, you know what? You're literally victim blaming. Because if we want to sit there and say, close your mouth or bite down. Okay, by your assessment of the situation, shock doesn't become a factor. Going with a scenario out of pure fear that you want to get out of this as safely as possible. You know, not that this is smaller than, not serious, but you might not want to anger this person and end up dead. by your thing. So shock doesn't exist in your mind. And also, what else doesn't? So what about this? Are you going to say, oh, just close your legs? Then rape wouldn't happen? Like, by your assessment and your fucking logic in this, which there's no fucking logic, it sets all this shit back 15, 20, 30 years by dismissing SA and all of this all over again. Like, it's some toxic mentality that you have, Keem. And I can understand not wanting to put it on drama alert because, one, we all know who lined your pockets when you started your channel, Mr. Jake Paul. You commented on every fucking Jake Paul thing there was. So that man lined your pockets. And you have a personal beef towards certain creators that you do speak on your platform about, where we talk about pyrocynical, when you spoke on pyrocynical with the French girl, beating a dead horse. He came out with his video. A lot of it lined up. A lot of it made sense. Then you still beat the dead horse on your channel because you don't like him. You have a personal... So you can't cry and scream and stamp your feet and say journalism, whilst using your drama alert to benefit your own agendas with creators you do like and creators you don't like. It's not keeping the same energy. Now, again, pyrocynical, go down that rabbit hole, my friends, and find out what you think about that. And if I can find certain things, I will link them below. But there's a pyrocynical situation as well. But let's just give you a bit of background, bit of context. And I think some people that might be interested in this video or things like that might already know that context. So I don't want to drag it out further. And go over information that I might not necessarily have the right words for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to spread misinformation about the whole situation. But there's a whole thing on it, right? And I think that it's like, if you're not going to speak about it on Drama Alert, is that to save face? Like, I don't understand. Like, to save face, but then you're going to say it on fucking Twitter. Like, it makes no sense, Keem. It makes no fucking sense. And it's disgusting the way that you're doing this. The way you're speaking about it, the way you're presenting it, the way everything that you're doing is fucked up. Which is really fucking shitty. Because as I said at the start of this video, there are some things that I absolutely love about Keem. You know, we all know I love Trisha. We all know that I listen to H3H3. Not his biggest fan. I know he's done some shit that's really like messed up or whatever. But you're saying, don't go after people's sponsors the same way that Ethan and Trisha and a few others are doing. I appreciate that. You are right. Don't go after people's sponsors because you're taking money out of people's pockets and you're also setting a precedent. And you've said this, Keem. You're setting a precedent where we have to be like, okay, are we all going to lose? Not we, but like, I don't have sponsors, but maybe one day I will. But are we all going to lose our sponsors because we're all going to be classed as problematic, and big companies and other companies are going to think, no, we're going to stick to the men in suits that are not being put on, all of this pressure put on them to be a perfect person because they're going on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? You're taking the money from the little guy and giving it to the big guy. Keem said it. I love that. All about it, Keem. You're fucking right. I don't goddamn think that Leafy Leafy is here. If you're an OG of YouTube, you know Leafy. I don't think Leafy should have been taken off the platform. I'm still fucking mad about it. I'm not no gamer. I never played a game in my life. But I've watched Leafy. Miss Leafy. I do. I really do. Go watch iDubbbz and see him talk about his content cop on Leafy. Fucking hilarious. Anyway. Pepsi Max yet again. But yeah, like, you're saying some really good stuff, and I can see how your shit that you've done years ago, you have grown from some of it, Keem. And you've changed, and I know how you got that interview with that murderer, and essentially got him to confess on air. Like, that was amazing. The money you have sent to victims of swatting and, you know, all these things that you have done for people is, like, I don't want to take away from some of that. And I don't ever want you to censor yourself completely, because I like that you're free thinking, and I like that you don't give a fuck, and I like that sometimes you have a difference of opinion to other people. You make shit interesting, Keem, especially Twitter, Keem. You make shit interesting. And thank you again, Bowblax. You know what I mean? Like, you make things interesting, and I can, like, fuck, you know, not many people would really say that out loud, but there comes a line, and you're not only crossing that line, you're pissing all over it. And then you're making yourself look like an asshole. And then people who are your fans or your subscribers have the same mentality as you, and they feel like that they're right because you're saying it. Not that we should put people on platforms and make them, you know, our fucking leaders and we have to listen to them, but you're making it okay for people to think this way or change their mind on sexual assault. And I think that that is disgusting, and I think that that really needs to stop, and you really need to think about this. Now, and I could go on and on and on about the things that you have done on Mum's Basement, which is a podcast that you have. You know, we all know the episode of Mum's Basement where you had Jeffree Star on there and FaZe Banks and Colossal's Crazy on there, and the way you went about that podcast. I could make a whole nother rambling rampage on that, but I'm not going to, because, and I'm not going to drag this video out further, but I kind of just wanted to get this off my chest. And I guess in between all of my rambling and some things that don't necessarily make sense, I kind of hope that people will hear what I'm saying and kind of rethink if they are agreeing with Keem, or they are feeling as though they've been victim blamed just by witnessing or hearing or being any sort of around anything about that video, or what has been said on Twitter, and what has been the narrative that's been pushed when it comes to SA and things like this. It is never okay. It is never okay to victim blame. Never. I don't give a flying fuck what anyone says. It is never okay. Now, another thing is, and this might be a controversial thought or a controversial opinion that I have, and I'm more than happy to have a discussion in the comments below where you guys tell me what you think, if I'm wrong here, because I can partly see where the people that come out with these allegations, I can see what they're doing. They're doing it to the public because they see a lot of people going up, like supporting, looking up to, being a part with these big creators that are doing terrible things behind the scenes. I understand that. And I think we should all speak out and have the loudest voice. And the Me Too movement and everything along those lines, I appreciate, I respect. But on the other hand, can we not go to YouTubers to give our exclusives and our stories and our this and our that, unless we have had police intervene, and also had some mental health support or help, because there are people like Keemstar out here who will drag you through the mud, and their stands will come and drag you through the mud. And if you have gone through SA, anything like this happening to you, I, in my own heart, don't participate in the victim blaming or dismissing or poking holes in any of that. But I sit back and I think to myself, are they okay? Because it's not a normal thing, even for YouTubers, TikTokers or whatever. It's not a normal human thing to have so many comments, videos, tweets, everything come your way. It is very overwhelming. Even if it's positive, it's very overwhelming. But imagine the most traumatic experience in your life becoming a circus on the internet, and you're not mentally ready or mentally healed from the situation. You'll never be 100% healed, but just being in a better place mentally, emotionally, physically. It's almost like when people go through SA and things like that, and they have to go to court and they have to be on trial. There's so many support services out there and the police and things like that, from my own experiences and other people's experiences and things like that, where they do talk to you about how much this brings up for you. The trauma comes back to the surface, and you need to make sure you are okay and you have done all the right legalities and things like that to be able to do what your final step is. This should be the final step, not the first step. The internet should not be your first port of call when these things happen to you, regardless of whether this person is famous or not. It needs to be your last step. Not for anything other than your own mental health and your own safety and your own healing. So with that all being said, I think I've rambled on enough. I hope that this made sense. Do you know what? If it doesn't, welcome to Bambi's Rambles, my friends. So thank you for watching, and thank you to all my new subscribers. I have actually gained quite a few subscribers in the past 2 days with my absence, and I welcome you all to my channel. And I'm really excited about all this new content I'm going to put out for you guys, and I really hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a beautiful day. And remember, keep the same energy. Bye.